Hey guys, welcome back to DCS, and I certainly hope that you viewers like that intro that I made. It took me quite some time to edit that one through. Now in today's video, as you can see, we'll be looking at some air-to-ground weapons. Now let's go ahead and arm up the jet. So first and foremost, we're carrying the CBU-99s. So we're carrying that in the central position of the aircraft underneath. Underneath pylons, we're carrying two CBU-99s. Now they're cluster bombs, basically anti-tank cluster bombs, and we're also carrying four 500-pound Snakeyes bombs. Basically, they're high drag bombs designed to be dropped at low altitude. And we're also carrying a total of 8 Zuni rockets. These are 5-inch fin folding rockets fired from the LAU or Loadout 10 launcher tubes. Now allow me to go through the weapons a little bit. Now the reason why I've left these weapons to the end is that they're quite obscure, really. And I'll go ahead and talk about the cluster bombs first. So the CBU-99 is a anti-tank cluster bomb. Basically, cluster bombs are prohibited. They're banned under the Geneva Convention. Now there's a very, very good reason for which they are banned. And now the reason is that these cluster bombs basically release little bomblets across the whole wide area when they're dropped. And the problem is that these little bomblets could sometimes stay for decades after the war has ended, basically staying as unexploded ordnance, maiming, disabling, and killing civilians decades after the war has ended. And they also propose a huge risk to animals as well. So they're banned. But luckily for us, we're in a video game and this doesn't really apply to us, so we can go ahead and have a look at them. But personally, I don't like using cluster bombs. I don't think they're effective anyway. But we can have a look at those and also have a look at the Snakeyes as well as the Zuni rockets. So let's get started. So we'll select the cluster bombs, and then we got our traditional methods of delivery: CCIP, CCRP. I personally like auto or CCRP. But CCIP is the way to deliver the CBU-99s. And also we have the fusing here. Now for the fusing, we have this VT or variable time for the CBU-99s. And as soon as you select that, you get this height option here. Now as you can see down there, each time you press that height button, it basically changes all the way from 300 feet to 3,000 feet. That's basically telling the computer where you want the CBU canister to open and release the 247 little bomblets, basically at what altitude. Now you can go up all the way from 300 to 3,000 feet, basically, as I said. And I've tried them, and it works. Basically, all the heights work. Normally, I go for 1,000 to 1,200 feet, so we'll leave it there. And then we'll select UFC. And we want to drop both of them at the same time. So we'll select 2 for quantity and interval 100 feet. Would do 100 feet of spacing, basically. So that's that. That takes care of the CBU-99. So let's talk about the Snakeyes. Now, as I said, the Snakeyes are the 500-pound sort of high drag bombs that are designed to be dropped at low altitude. So as you can see, we have 4 of them. So again, we got delivery modes. All the traditional ones. I normally like to go for CCIP. M-Fuse, still the same, we'll go for nose. And then here we have drag. So you have free fall, and then you have retarded drag. So we'll select the retarded drag. Basically, we want the bombs to have high drag. Quantity, we'll select 4. And spacing, we'll want 120 feet. Spacing between each bomb. And the last ordnance that we're carrying today is the 5-inch fin folding Zuni rockets. As you can see on the HUD, you have this sort of the gun reticle. So that's the CCIP delivery mode as well as the manual delivery mode. So we have 2 only. So if you select manual, you have to dial in a milliradian setting for the reticle. So to do that, you hit the UFC button, and you come up here. Okay, master caution, we'll clear that. So you select the reticle, and then you punch in a number through the UFC, and then basically that moves the reticle up or down. Now I personally like the CCIP, and you should do that. That's way more accurate. Let's go ahead and clear that engine icing, inlet icing problem. Okay, And also, we have these two other options down here as well, single or salvo. If you select single, only one rockets are only fired from one pod. Okay, the pod that is that is boxed will only fire. And if you select salvo, with each press of the pickle button, one rocket is fired from both Lao 10 launchers, basically. So that's about it for the rockets. Now I have a couple of targets over there. Let's go ahead and attack them. Okay guys, welcome back. So here we are. We're going to be attacking the first group of light vehicles with the Zuni 5-inch rockets. Now these rockets were mainly used in Vietnam. They're very heavily used in Vietnam. I don't think they're used that much in the recent times. So again, we have this pipper. We have this same as the CCIP gun pipper, and you can see it's winding down counterclockwise. Now as soon as you see the inner layer of the reticle start peeling away, you're basically in range. And altitude. There we go. So we can begin firing now. There we go. So that's 2, and there we go. That's everything. Oh, nice. But as you can see, it's quite a primitive weapon. That's why it's not on my favorite list of weapons to use for the Hornet. You're gonna have to get really, really close to the enemy. As you can see, they're firing at us. There's a lot of tracer coming up. But they're primitive, but yet effective. I mean, they've been around since the Second World War, so. So next is the CBU-99. Okay, guys, welcome back. So we're getting ready to make a CCRP drop of the 2 CBU-99s, the cluster bombs. So I want to drop them on the second portion of the convoy. Those are the BMP2s. Now, as I said, these are heat cluster bombs, basically designed to take out armored vehicles. And there we go, release. Now you'll see 2 flashes. That's basically when the canisters open. There we go. And there we go, impact. Well, that was quite accurate, really. And we only took out 2 BMPs. Okay, interesting. But they're not one of my favorite weapons to use at all. So the next set of weapons is the Snakeyes. Okay guys, so here we are. My aim is to get down to about 300 feet and drop the 4 Snakeyes. Oh, there's a lot of fire coming up. And there we go. Whoa, that's a lot of fire. Oh, we missed. Yeah, we pickled a bit too early, guys. We missed the tanks. We hit the BMPs again. But that sort of gives you the idea of how these weapons are used, guys. As I said, they're quite obscure. They're not the favorite of the whole weaponry that the Hornet can carry. So as you can see, we missed the those tanks at the back. I pickled a little bit too early, so I missed them and I hit the BMP2s. With regards to the rockets, there's also the Hydra rockets as well, the 2.5-inch rockets. They're slightly smaller than the Zuni rockets. But as I said, the Zuni rockets were used quite extensively during Vietnam. They could be effective, but they're not very accurate. The CBUs, as I said, they're prohibitive weapons. They drop, I think, 247 heat sort of bomblets to try and knock out armored vehicles. And the Snakeyes, they're useful, but they're quite dangerous to use. Like, I mean, you're putting your aircraft and yourself in harm's way. Now, guys, thank you so much for watching. That brings us to the end of this episode. And next, I want to move on to air-to-air stuff, as well as some landing patterns and aircraft carrier operations. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next episode.